Welcome to Wawasan Wire. Today, we're talking about the latest storm surrounding Namewee, specifically the explosive professional conflict with a longtime producer.
Right. And this isn't just, typical online drama.
No, not at all. This is serious. A former key collaborator, a producer on several music videos, has just, well, exploded online.
After 5 years of apparently holding it in, he called working with Namewee a hell-level experience. That's strong wording.
It really is. And it hits differently than the usual controversies, doesn't it?
Absolutely, because this is coming from inside the production process. It's focused squarely on professional ethics, how people are treated, how they're paid.
It brings it right back to the nuts and bolts of making content, especially here in Malaysia.
Exactly. Reputation management is one thing, but this is about how you actually run your business, how you treat your team.
So let's get into the details. The producer is Zhang Yuanhan, and he posted this really long, very direct message online. Was it early November 3rd?
Yeah, in the early hours. And the core message, the absolute bottom line for him was, quote, "You simply do not respect professionalism."
Ouch. That cuts deep in any creative field.
And he wasn't vague about it either. He specifically tied it to projects they worked on together.
Right. He mentioned the music video for China, which you might remember starred the influencer Iris Xie. So a pretty high-profile project.
And that MV seems to be like the flashpoint for all this built-up frustration.
It seems so. Especially around the money side of things.
Okay, yeah, let's talk about the money. That was a huge part of his post. He claimed the pay for the crew, the staff, was just ridiculously low.
Which is a big claim, especially when you consider Namewee's reach. Zhang Yuanhan pointed to the YouTube traffic recovery.
Right. Can you unpack that term a bit for listening? What does traffic recovery really mean here? Basically, it's the revenue. And when you have millions and millions of views, that translates into significant income, right? Ad revenue, platform payouts, sponsorships. It all flows back to the creator.
So the producer is saying, look, all this money is coming in from the views.
Exactly. And he put it very bluntly. He quoted himself challenging Namewee, saying, "YouTube traffic recovery is so high, what kind of F price do you give our staff?"
Wow. So he's alleging a huge disconnect between the project's success and how the actual crew were compensated.
Precisely. The people doing the technical work, the shooting, the lighting, the editing, the hands-on stuff, were getting, according to Zhang Yuanhan, really low rates.
It makes you wonder, doesn't it? Have you ever been in that spot, maybe in a different field, where you see the success, you see the budget, but your piece of it feels, well, completely out of whack?
It's a common frustration, I think, in many industries, but especially creative ones. And Zhang Yuanhan said it got so bad, the low-budget quotes were so low, that he, the producer, was actually getting criticized by others in the industry. His own peers were looking sideways at him.
So he was stuck, trying to deliver A-list results on a shoestring budget, potentially damaging his own reputation in the process, just to make the project happen for Namewee.
That's the picture he paints. It's that classic tension, isn't it? Exposure versus fair pay.
And maybe for a while, the exposure, the chance to work with a big name, feels worth it.
Often, yeah. People see it as an investment in their portfolio, their career. But clearly, after 5 years for Zhang Yuanhan, that calculation just didn't add up anymore. The frustration outweighed the benefit.
And it wasn't just the money, right? He talked about feeling disrespected.
Oh, definitely. He shared this one story, this anecdote, that really kind of sums it up.
What was that?
Field scouting, finding locations. He said he and the team went out. It was raining. They were wearing rain boots, actually wading through water.
Okay, so putting in serious physical effort.
Right. He even caught a cold because of it. They did all this prep work. And then the follow-up visit, the re-scouting, which was apparently necessary, got canceled.
Why? Weather? Logistics?
Nope. According to Zhang Yuanhan, Namewee just didn't want to go.
Seriously, after the team went through all that?
That's what he claims. And that was the breaking point. That disregard for their effort, their time, their, physical discomfort.
I can imagine.
Zhang Yuanhan actually admitted he almost punched Namewee right then and there.
Wow. Okay, so that explains why he finally cut ties.
Yeah, he said he refused any more collaborations. His conclusion was pretty damning. Namewee fundamentally does not respect professional work and doesn't get the value of his team's talent or sacrifice.
So when you put this very specific, very personal professional dispute next to everything else we know,
it fits into a larger pattern, doesn't it? This is just the latest issue for Namewee, who has a very, very long history of public incidents.
a really long history. I read somewhere the count is up to, what, 30 different controversies?
Something like that. Enough that, Wikipedia actually have a whole separate section just listing them, which is unusual.
It really is. And we're talking major stuff over the years. The national anthem incident back in 2007.
That was the one that first really put him on the map, controversially speaking.
Then more recently, the Glass Heart song in 2021, that went absolutely viral globally.
Huge international attention on that one.
And just last year, 2024, that really bizarre April Fool's Day stunt where he faked his own death.
Right, which got a lot of backlash. So there's this consistent pattern of pushing boundaries, creating friction, generating headlines.
And this producer's complaint kind of makes you ask, okay, is that boundary-pushing attitude bleeding into how he deals with his own team?
That's the core question, isn't it? Does the artistic persona, the one that thrives on controversy, excuse, or maybe even encourage disrespect or poor treatment behind the scenes, is the team just expected to suck it up?
The timing of this producer's post is interesting, too.
Very. Because it came right after another mini-drama, didn't it?
Yeah, just days before Zhang Yuanhan went public, Namewee had posted online denying any drug use or possession.
And then he followed that up, claiming he'd received some kind of blackmail threat. A black letter, he called it.
But then the police weighed in.
Right. And this is quite significant. The Malaysian police issued a public statement saying they hadn't actually received any formal report about blackmail or extortion regarding Namewee.
So the official channels didn't back up his public claim of being threatened.
Correct. And then, right after that clarification, boom, Zhang Yuanhan drops his very detailed, very personal accusations about pay and respect.
It definitely shifted the focus back onto Namewee's own conduct, didn't it? Away from external threats and onto internal relationships.
Precisely. It refocused the narrative onto professional integrity.
So whether it's these huge public blow-ups or these more hidden, behind-the-scenes professional disputes.
A picture does start to emerge, doesn't it, about the relationship between these really high-profile creators and the teams, the crucial teams, that make their work possible.
What are the implications here, especially for the creative scene in Malaysia?
Well, look, we know these big projects, especially ones with global reach like Namewee's, generate substantial revenue. That traffic recovery often translates to US dollars, big number. But if the person at the top then sets the budgets based on really, really low quotes for the skilled labor, the sacrifice demanded from the staff, like, wading through floodwater like Zhang Yuanhan described, it just feels magnified.
It raises questions about sustainability, right?
Yeah.
Can you keep attracting good people like that?
Exactly. Maybe you can get upcoming talent willing to sacrifice for the exposure once or twice. But experienced professionals, people who know their worth, who value their time and skills.
They're less likely to stick around if the conditions and the pay don't match the work.
Over time, yeah. It becomes harder to retain top talent if your reputation shifts from great opportunity to low pay and difficult to work with.
That's got to impact the quality you can produce in the long run.
Absolutely. The market for talent, eventually it sets its own standards. A reputation for poor treatment has real, tangible costs for our creators' ability to keep making high-quality work.
It really boils down to this. When a creator's public profile is built on pushing boundaries, does that license extend to how they treat their team behind the camera? We want to know what you think.
It's a tough question with real consequences for everyone involved.
Remember to like and subscribe for more videos like this.